Hello, how are you? Few people know this, but many health problems in old age start with the legs. I'm going to explain to you what the connection is between our legs, healthy aging, what causes this, and how to prevent it. You're going to love this video. Stay until the end. You won't want to miss it. Before we start, I want to ask you, where are you from and how old are you? Write it for me down below. Leave it in the comments, and if you like these videos with tips on how to age healthily while maintaining your quality of life, give this video a like so I know you enjoyed it, and I'll bring more videos like this for you. We know that over time, there is a natural process of gradual muscle mass loss in our bodies as we age. But what few people know is that the first place where you really start to feel this muscle mass loss is in the leg muscles. These leg muscles, starting from the age of 30, we can lose between 3% to 8% of muscle mass per decade. That's a lot because it starts from the age of 30. So this ends up being cumulative when you don't take steps to reverse this muscle mass loss, and specifically, losing muscle mass in your legs can bring some health problems, not just related to the muscles themselves, but even to your metabolism. Let's talk more about this right now. Of course, when we think about the consequences of losing muscle mass in the legs, the first thing that comes to mind is a higher risk of falls and fractures because it's the legs that provide support for our body, right? So if your muscles are weaker, of course you might fall. You try to go up some stairs and you fall, you try to run a little faster, there's a small step on the street, you don't have enough support, and you end up falling and breaking a femur or some other major bone in your hip, for example. So this muscle mass is what actually provides the support you need to avoid falling. And we also know that these falls can be very dangerous for your health, right? Imagine an elderly person who falls and hits their head. So, preventing falls is closely related to longevity. Another issue is that a major problem with losing muscle mass in the legs can be related to the autonomy of the elderly. A person with less muscle mass in their lower limbs may have more difficulty climbing stairs, getting up from a chair, getting out of bed on their own, sitting on the toilet, carrying their own groceries, or walking medium to long distances. So, because of this, the elderly person starts to lose their autonomy, which is very complicated, not only from a physiological point of view, but also psychologically. This loss of autonomy and independence can even lead to depression and deep sadness because the person starts to feel that they can no longer do the things they used to, and this can cause very serious sadness indeed. The leg muscle is a very large muscle, right? They are the largest muscles we have in our body in terms of size. So, when we lose such a significant amount of muscle mass, we experience a reduction in basal metabolism, which will promote an accumulation of body fat. So, what can happen as we age is a redistribution of body composition where we see a decrease in lean mass and an accumulation of fat mass. And this is worse for our health because it can lead to overweight, obesity, metabolic problems, diabetes, and other associated health conditions. There are also studies that have found that this loss of muscle mass in the legs can worsen insulin sensitivity, precisely because the legs contain very large muscles. So, this can increase the risk of type 2 diabetes for certain types of people. There's an interesting way for you to assess whether your leg strength is adequate for your age or not. It's called the chair test, and it's very simple. You look for a chair, and without using your arms, you sit down on the chair. And you try to sit down and stand up without using the armrests, 5 times in a row. It's just a regular chair, the kind you use for dining, for working, or whatever you need it for. So do this quickly 5 times. If you have difficulty or feel very tired, it could be a sign of muscle weakness, and it's worth looking into. It's very important for us to try to reverse or at least avoid reaching this process of sarcopenia, the loss of muscle mass, or to slow it down as much as possible. One thing that will always help is strength training. It contributes a lot to increasing muscle mass. So it could be weight training. When we talk about weight training, many people think of very young people, gym rats who lift a lot of weight, but it doesn't necessarily have to be a very large amount of weight, a very high volume of weight, right? That has nothing to do with it. We already know that this doesn't necessarily contribute to gaining muscle strength. This is a very important point. And remember that there are other exercises like water aerobics and Pilates itself, which are gentler and can also help with gaining muscle mass. It's also extremely important for elderly people to consume adequate protein. As people age, they often have more difficulty consuming protein, whether due to digestibility issues or even because they live alone and feel less motivated to cook. Remember that in some cases, protein supplementation can be beneficial. I have an entire playlist here talking about protein powders, whey protein, albumin, and plant-based proteins, which can be a good alternative for you to supplement your protein intake. I'll leave this playlist down below in the description for you. We also know that keeping your vitamin D levels in check is closely related to muscle strength and also to bone health, right? These things go hand in hand. So getting some sun in a responsible way and checking your serum vitamin D levels, right, your blood levels, is super important. I have a really nice video here on the channel talking about what the ideal blood levels of vitamin D are and about supplementation. Of course, you should always take vitamin D and any supplementation with the guidance of a nutritionist or doctor who is following you personally, okay? It's also super important for you to try to get adequate sleep. As people get older, they tend to sleep less, and sometimes the quality of their sleep is worse. So it's worth investigating if you sleep poorly, if you have sleep apnea, or if you're under a lot of stress. When you sleep poorly, your cortisol levels go up, which breaks down muscle mass and causes fat to accumulate in our bodies. So this can also contribute to muscle loss in your legs. Now, if you're already experiencing a very severe case of muscle mass loss, it might be a good idea to do physical therapy with a professional in the field so they can help you recover that muscle. Afterwards, you should have follow-up care with a doctor or a physical education professional to help you maintain that muscle mass. Let me know down below if you think your legs are okay, if you did the test, and what your result was. I'd love to see your comment. If you enjoyed the video, go ahead and leave a like because that helps YouTube understand that this content is relevant and share it with other people who might also like it. This helps others as well. And if you already know someone who would like this or who needs this information, go ahead and share the video now. Let's work together to expand this chain of good. That's what I want here on the channel. See you next time. Bye.